excused today, I see. Susan?
Also excused, may hop on later.
Okay, gotcha. Alderman Steuer was
I'm
present.
here. I'm here.
Yes. Justin?
Yay.
Okay, I'm here. Ian?
Present.
And David? Present, okay. So let it be known that Paul and Susan are absent, with Susan perhaps joining us later. The next item of agenda is approval of the agenda for tonight, the September 16th meeting of the Landmarks Commission. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any nays? Okay, the ayes have it unanimously. The next item D, approval of the minutes from the August 19th, 2020 meeting of the Landmarks Commission. I presume everybody's read through those.
Yep.
And do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Anyone?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any nays? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Next, we move on to E, regular business. Number 1, Certificate of Appropriateness 20-25, consideration with possible action on a design review for a replacement fire escape located at 126 North Oakland Avenue. Jason, I'm presuming that's you, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. There's a house, and there it is. They have a fire escape on the backside that I never knew about because, frankly, you just don't see it. And they've applied to change that fire escape a little bit, which, frankly, I wouldn't have known about had they just gone ahead and done it. We're recommending approval. The neatest thing I can say about this house is that it's one of Ian's group's homes designs, if you will, and there's an identical one in Astor. But here you see the pictures of the back side of the house as it exists with the current fire escape. And they'll just be making it a little bit bigger, but like I said before, it's mostly hidden from any public right-of-way view.
Okay, recommendation is for approval. Do we have anyone who wants to open the floor for discussion? Okay, do we have a motion to?
Let's say motion to approve, unless a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, anyone nay? It's aye unanimous, once again. So the motion carries. Item number 2, Certificate of Appropriateness 20-26, consideration with possible action on a design review for a door expansion and clerestory, is that how you pronounce that?
Clerestory.
Yeah, window addition at 110 South Adams Street. Jason?
Yeah, so Ian, I expected you to pronounce that more slowly for me because I'm not entirely sure how that's pronounced.
Clerestory.
Clerestory?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So it's the Initiative 1 building. You can see it in the photograph here. The request is to make a slightly larger door opening on the north side towards the parking lot. You see under the side light window, there's a little 4-row high run of brick right next to the door. They want to get rid of the brick that's directly below that side light window. I have no objection to that. I recommend approval. The second item is this clerestory window. This one I encourage you to think a little more carefully about. In general, to be a good rooftop addition, it should not be visible from any public right-of-way. This one is perhaps minimally visible, and the building suffers somewhat from being so far away from the street, yet so visible to the street. Which one is that? From Walnut, across the street, you know, there's a parking lot, Walnut Street, and then across the street there, that's where you see it most prominently. But, you know, there's nothing that says conclusively that you can't do it. There's nothing that says conclusively that you can do it. That's all written up in my staff report. What I didn't so much write about is that this building was a very hard sell for the State Historic Preservation Office to include in the district. The initial several go-throughs, the SHPO office did not want this building to be considered contributing within the district. That having been said, I don't know that this change would, trigger anybody to go through the effort and heartache of delisting it. But, the anecdotal thing here is that a lot of people didn't want the building, and I managed to get it in, and this kind of change, had it been there, might have definitely kept it off. I can't say that conclusively. The only other thing here, if you approve it or not, or whatever you do approve tonight, the little isometric views that they put on this slide that you're looking at show a drastically altered facade on Adams Street. I think that's just because they had isometric views of convenience of a proposed change that they aren't pursuing. The COA does not call for this drastically altered facade, but
That's correct. We are not changing the outside facade.
excellent. So, there you have it, folks. I recommend approval of the door opening. I am punting to you for your best opinions on the clerestory windows.
And Wendy is here as a representative if you need to open the floor for any questions for her.
Motion open the floor.
The clear story is open.
We gotta make a second.
I'm
Need
sorry,
a second.
say second.
Second by Siegel.
Mike, okay, okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to include that the clear story, it's only about 4.5 feet, roughly 4.5 feet tall.
And that's on which side of the building? I'm sorry, which direction?
Facing, it would be the north side.
And that's on the shorter part of the building, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I kind of see how that goes there. Okay. All right.
It is one bay back per the requirements or whatever, so it is one bay back.
Who's speaking?
I'm sorry, this is Dean Kroll from Rodak.
Is there-
I don't know if, I guess I have some time. I was hoping to listen to Ian on this as well. But, I agree with the first part where Jason said, to approve the first part. I have no problem with that. The second part, he was punting over to us a little bit. I do have maybe some tiny concerns because I know how difficult it was to get it listed historically. And, I just would hate to lose any of that moving forward. So that's just my initial comment.
I concur with Mark. In fact, I feel much stronger about that. My initial reaction to this was it significantly alters the original architect's vision for this building. And with this comment about how this barely got approved, I am even more reluctant to grant approval for this alteration.
As I understand it, this is a four-sided clerestory with equal-sized windows and openings on all four sides. Is it needed for what purpose? Daylighting or head clearance?
Daylighting.
For lighting.
Has the owner looked at alternate methods of getting daylighting into that space? Like from above as opposed to from the side in a clerestory application, or potentially just having one side of it raised and the remainder of the roof pitched back. If it's not for height clearance on the inside, I think there's an alternate way of trying to get daylight into that space without having to elevate it quite so high on all sides.
The windows that are proposed in there because of what you need for the beam above and then getting above the roof, the windows that are being proposed are only 2'4" high. So the windows are not very high themselves. We did look at some skylights, but then to get one, of size of the amount of daylighting that we would like to get in there, of course, pose some additional roofing issues and some snow issues. So this was a design that we came up with. Is it something that we could, shorten the windows up a little bit? Just trying to compromise, I guess, to not ruin the look or of what you're trying to maintain.
Like a pyramidal roof light on top of that, so you don't have a roof at all, but all four windows essentially lean in, and you would need a lot less height, and it would be visually a lot less intrusive in a scenario like that. The YMCA in the atrium space there has a similar skylight that may be more appropriate for this application.
Yeah, they do. They're going to be doing a bunch of presenting in there. So one of the things we're trying to look at too of how to get daylighting but maintain, not have glare issues. I mean, those are just some of the design things that we were thinking about.
I mean, certainly, vertical shades could be put on the windows as proposed. A horizontal element could be introduced to kind of diffuse the daylighting. It's a pretty large. It's 20 foot by 17 foot.
Correct.
There's the amount of daylight or the amount of window opening you need from above to daylight a space below is probably only about 4 or 5% of the floor area that it's actually illuminating. So in terms of the amount of glass that you'd need, it really would not need to be as glazed as it's described here if it's more of a horizontal application. I'm not sure what else was explored besides what we're seeing here. That's all.
Like I said, we probably looked at 4 or 5 different options, and this is something that we liked, but I understand where you're coming from. So that's what I was asking. Is there a way that instead of making the glass 2'4", we took it down 6 inches, or trying to bring it even closer to the roof line? Doing something.
I think it would be interesting to do a section through there and to see what incrementally dropping that 6 inches would do from a visual standpoint from the street. It's just enough in these images to protrude above that ridge line, that fascia line.
Is this time sensitive by any chance? Can I just ask?
Yeah, they would like us to start construction in late September. We had city building permits with this as being a stipulation to make sure that everything was all set before we proceeded.
Anyone else? Any other ideas?
I was kind of deferring to Ian on some of this stuff, the intricacies of it. I don't know, I wish there was something that could be stated besides that, with the time sensitivity of this, but, if the owners are really looking at wanting to stay part of the historic district and on the register, that always bodes well down the road, and you'd hate to compromise that.
I guess,
So-
is our historic tax credits being pursued as part of this application or no?
No, they are not.
My guess is if this is done, any opportunity for that in the future will be gone.
On the subject of tax credits, for a commercial property, you have to spend an amount equal to the or equal to the adjusted basis value of the building. And of course, for better or for worse, within the last, 7 or so years, the owners had invested a very substantial amount of money into this building,
Yep.
such that this change is not equal to or greater than the current adjusted basis value of the building. But of course, this change will again presumably increase that basis value of the building. So I don't know that tax credits are ever really going to be on the table in the next several decades for this building.
Those are my two cents for this. I'm going to abstain from the vote because I'm aware of who's presenting here, and I'm not sure I can give an unbiased opinion. So,
I can really add nothing. This is not my area of expertise. I mean, as I look through it, I understand what it is, but I can't really add to these drawings. I mean, I just don't have that expertise myself. Well, should we make a motion? Oh, sorry.
Could I ask if, like I said, this is time sensitive. We have a couple of committee members missing. I'm just wondering if we could, within a week, have an emergency meeting on this one point and then just kind of hit it again. I'd be more comfortable with that, to have Paul and Susan weigh in on this as well. That's just my 2 cents.
was there a staff recommendation in this one?
Staff recommendation recommends careful consideration. If you want a personal opinion, I lean towards no, but
Yeah.
I mean, certainly removal of the brick at that lower level, that's not the issue. I think we've all agreed on a general consensus on that. It's the story that's in question.
Is there a larger picture of that? I'm trying to see it, and it's hard for me to see completely. I don't know. Can we have a bigger view or not?
You're asking a lot of me, man. I don't know how to do most of that.
I am.
How do you do?
On sheet 22 of 45 in the PDF set, if you zoom in on that plan, it gives you a pretty good indication as to
Yeah, what we're looking at.
Nolan Carter sheet C 1.0. Right there at the bottom, if we can zoom in on the bottom, I don't know if we can.
I'm trying my best, but it's not. I don't know if it's just because Zoom is up, but it won't let me expand it.
I'm trying to get it on my own here.
Pause.
There's like 6 attachments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it on the building construction set on the bottom?
It's, yeah, there you go,
For this
Stephanie.
one here? Okay.
It's basically that white area on the left where it says 110 along the street edge, where the red lines are radiating from that white space there. Yep, that's the white space is the clear story. That's where it's positioned. It is positioned back from the facade, which is appropriate on both sides, both on the east side and on the north side. It's just sitting a little high, in my opinion.
So how much more glass is being added to that? I mean, it seems like quite a bit.
Well, it's, if
I
you
mean,
look,
as far as square footage.
if you look at, just find the detail sheet.
All the glass on the sidewalls is there. We're not adding any glass on Adams Street or anything.
It's purely up on top of the roof.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
The only thing we're doing is up on top of the roof.
If you're on sheet A 1.2, the clear story section there, B, A 1.2, is, shows you how much glass is going in there.
Is one of the issues that if you can see it or not, appreciably from the street, is that part of, because I know we've looked at buildings in the past where even on this first topic where we had a fire escape in the back where you can't see it. Is this, what kind of percentage, or is there a number you can put on as far as seeing the amount from when you're standing in front of the building?
The primary consideration is that it is visible from most public points of view. Wisconsin State Historic Preservation Office is a little more stringent on this. They very specifically don't allow for any rooftop additions on buildings shorter than 3 stories in height. Now, typically when we talk about rooftop additions, we're talking about additional living space, like an apartment. This isn't that, but, from the letter of the Wisconsin perspective, this is shorter than 3 stories, so that's a firm strike, and it's visible from all public rights of way, which is a second strike.
Well, I know a lot of time and effort and money was put into this building, years ago. And I mean, it's a beautiful building. That's not the issue, but I'm concerned about losing some of the intrinsic historic value of the building. David mentioned that as well. So I'm kind of leaning against.
Justin, your comments right there just further solidify my thoughts about altering the historical integrity of the architect's original intentions. Unless anyone wants to discuss, I'm more than willing to make a motion right now.
We will need to close the floor first.
Okay, we have a motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Okay, the floor is closed. David?
Make a motion that we do approve the first part about the brick in the doorway, but that we disapprove the second part with the almost unpronounceable name of that addition.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Ian's going to abstain, so.
Yep.
Well, the ayes have it, there are no nays, so it carries 4 to nothing.
I would like to say to the the people involved is I would support an emergency meeting, as Mark suggested, to address alterations that would take into account our concerns here to move forward to support your timeline.
Do we need a motion for that, Stephanie?
Nope, the applicant can just follow up with me whenever they have something to bring back to us, and we'll just keep it on the same COA application.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Okay, I concur.
Okay, I think-
I'd be happy to participate in that. My recommendation is that they look at a single slope clear story as opposed to a 4-sided. It'll reduce the height or do a clear story from above as opposed to from the side.
Okay.
If I can
I think-
interject too, Jason, here, as an engineer, I get into the structures, but it would be interesting too if it was like twice as wide and half as tall. I know the roof beams would have to be re-engineered for such a change, but
Okay.
Okay, so everybody agreed that they would participate in an emergency meeting to rediscuss this.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd be good. I'd be fine with that.
Okay, likewise. Okay, so that's also unanimous. It wasn't a motion, but everyone does agree, so. Okay, I'm sorry. The next item, I'm going to move on to the next item. Fair with everybody? Okay, item number 3, declaration of demolition by neglect at 711 Eliza Street.
Thank you.
Sure, who's taking this one, Jason?
No,
Or is
me.
it-
It's my turn. I never get to do this stuff.
Yay.
So this came before us from our inspection department. This currently has a condemnation order on it, and it was evacuated today or yesterday. So it is currently vacant and condemned. There was also a raised repair order that will be filed this week on this property, which is why we are intervening to declare a finding of demolition by neglect. The idea with this is to stop the property from being demolished. So the raised repair orders, which is also in your staff report, lists all the updates that are required for this house to come back into compliance. Our standard raised repair orders have the option to fix it or we will demo it. The demolition by neglect gives the Landmarks Commission the opportunity to intervene, to either stabilize the property, find funds to fix the property, or in this case, help the property owner sell the property. So I've already spoken to the property owner. He is willing to sell. In the absence of that, we can do anything that we find necessary to help this property. So the idea is that we can do fundraisers, find grant funding, find loans, find a new owner, use whatever funding we have available to stabilize this property. So we need a finding by the Landmarks Commission to move forward with that. And that language from this demolition by neglect clause will also be in the raise repair order that they received this week.
I have a question, Stephanie. We have photos of the outside. Is the inside equally neglected?
From what I have heard and seen from some of the inspection photos, there's a lot of clutter and just general disregard. So not as bad as the exterior. The exterior is the main reason why it was condemned.
How long has it been vacant, Stephanie?
One day.
That's it, because there were people in it.
There were tenants.
Of sorts. Okay.
They actually finished walking the people out today. So,
Wow.
yeah, I happened to drive by. And,
Has this been going on for some time, having folks live in there?
oh, yeah.
This has been
Wow.
an occupied property for a long time, but there's been years worth of inspection going back and forth with the property owner to try to bring this back into compliance. He's just over his head and he's admitted to that, so he really wants some help with making sure this property stays. He believes in preservation the way that we do, so.
Is there any idea, I mean, just a minimal, how much it would cost to even just bring it back to, basic standards if we could? Anybody have an idea on something like that? I haven't seen all the photos, so.
I don't know.
You don't know, okay.
They've discussed, like the raise repair orders give everything that is needed to get back into compliance with our building codes. So with that, there's the estimation of rebuilding the front porch and not necessarily taking it off. There are different options that don't get explored with that. So we don't have a cost estimate associated with this because that's not really how the raise repair process works. It more comes into effect when we try to figure out if it needs to be demolished or not, and we hope that that doesn't come to it in this property.
In the write-up, there was a comparison to 1039 South Jackson Street. And not on this sheet right here, but I remember looking through that. They said it was the same builder, the same style, so on and so forth. I went to look at it. It's not really 1039, it's 1038 South Jackson. It's on the even side of the road. But if anybody's interested, drive by and you can see what this place looks like in beautiful shape. So it gives you a comparison. It's the exact same house, same builder, everything.
Was
It's
that
just
in the
it's
inspection
interesting
documents,
how this
Ron?
has been kind of ripped apart over time.
Yeah. Ron, do you remember 619 Porlier? You remember that building?
Yeah.
That was, I took a view of that. They took that down finally, but that was definitely in that same vein where it just is falling apart. And it was a beautiful building, but, it just got to the point of no return. Personally, I would like to see if there was something that could be done here, at least take some steps to see if we could shore that up. And if it means trying to get some grants and that, I think that's important that we look at something like that. I was trying to look at the year that the building was built. I didn't quite see it. So I don't know if anybody knew what year it was built.
2019. And 1913, I'm sorry,
1913, okay.
I believe.
That's my take. I'd like to at least see if there was a process where we could just start the process to some of the things that Stephanie mentioned, but to see if there's some way that we can, maintain or preserve this building.
So if I read this correctly, a confirmation of a finding of demolition by neglect would start that process. That in turn, then we would begin that process to find out how deep the damage is and where it goes from there.
Yes.
Correct?
So it basically gives our staff permission to stabilize the property if needed, and then also find funding for this property.
Okay.
I would make a motion to that effect. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Any nays? Okay. It's a unanimous vote to let's issue the finding of demolition by neglect and move forward with what we can do to see if we can stabilize it and perhaps get it sold or repaired or whatever needs to be done.
Great, thank
Good
you.
enough.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm on an old computer, so it takes me a second. Next item of business, staff level COA applications.
We had one for new storm windows, and they had spec'd out some pretty decent storm windows, flush mount types. Probably won't even notice that they've done anything, so we approve that.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
We just would need that received and placed on file.
No, just receive and place on file. Okay.
Okay.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Okay.
Second.
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone? Is that all ayes? I have to abstain from this one because it's my son and his wife's house. So
Oh,
I'm
that's a
not gonna-
beautiful, it's a beautiful house.
they've done a marvelous job with it. It was beautiful when they bought it, and
Yeah.
they've done so much beautiful work to it. Okay, let's see. Number 2, raise and repair. F2, review city raise, repair orders and demolitions. Agenda item report. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Stephanie.
We have the single raise repair at 1156. Is it Vanderbrack? Does that
Correct.
seem plausible? Okay. That's a picture I took of it this morning. It looks like a flip project that has flopped. It's entirely clad in stucco, so it's kind of what I would refer to as an onion house. They've added so many layers, and stucco is usually the very last layer on anything like that, so you hide all the sins. But the interior's gutted. The walls are open. They don't have the electrical or the plumbing done. That's really the heart of the raise repair order.
Was there a picture? Did you have a picture of that?
I don't have any interior pictures, no.
Or exterior?
I'm looking at it. Are you not seeing it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Ta-da, there it is. I really couldn't tell you when it was built. It's obviously been kind of added to and tinkered with quite a bit.
Tinkered with. So what, do we need a motion to place this on file? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Okay, and a seconder somewhere?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Are there any nays? Okay, the ayes have it. Next order of business, I gotta get back there, 1 second. Staff updates.
I think our biggest update is that we got, our RFP window has closed, and we got 3 responses for the update to our historic survey, which I emailed you all about.
Right.
We are going to be setting up that interview for not next week, but the following week. I've heard from everyone on this screen, so thank you for responding. We have established so far 3 questions that we want to propose to the groups before they come to the interview, just to make sure that they hit those points for us. This is what I have so far. I'm not sure if we need to go very specific. Most of these people are professional organizations, so they'll come with a good presentation, I hope. And then we'll have an open Q&A section. But the first three questions we have are, what is your company's and staff capacity to work on a multi-year, multi-phase project? What is your proposed course of action concerning prioritizing areas of the city to be surveyed? And what is your capacity and willingness to use city staff, our commission, and volunteers for this project? I think those were the three main things that we had discussed last time.
That last point was good, Stephanie, because I think neighborhood associations or volunteers, people, could go around and maybe take photographs or do some research or do a few things ahead of time to give these folks some added material, and they could utilize that accordingly. So I don't know how to set up parameters for that, but I would like to see neighborhood associations possibly or volunteers to go out. I mean, I would do that even in my own neighborhoods, take some pictures and at least bring that information to the contractor.
Okay.
So that's my point.
I think that's it for the staff update. I'm looking at Jason and he's sitting down, so I'm guessing that he's good to go.
I'm on Facebook.
Oh. So if you
Okay.
guys find any more questions, I'm gonna compile these and send them out on Monday along with the interview times once I have those solidified. So if you get any thoughts or inspirations prior to that, please let me know.
Will do.
Will
We
do.
will.
Anyone have anything else to add? Okay, the date of the next meeting will be Wednesday, October 21st, 2020, unless we have that emergency meeting in between.
Yeah.
So, yep, okay. Meeting is adjourned.
Motion
Oh, we have a
to
motion,
adjourn.
sorry. Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any nays? Okay,
Nay.
meeting adjourned. Oh, well, it's 4-1, so.
Good job.